Hi everyone, it is Tim here with another Robot Butt Recommends. It's Tuesday, so it's the first one of the week. And today I wanted to do not just a recommendation, but kind of a defense, because today's recommendation is Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. And a lot of you are probably going, you're recommending this? I thought that movie was supposed to suck. And well, here's the thing. There are two hills I am willing to die on when it comes to, modern movies, especially the blockbuster area in the past couple of years. The first is The Last Jedi is the best Star Wars movie, and the second is Fallen Kingdom is a good, fun movie. So I'm not just going to recommend this, I'm going to be an apologist and defend the honor of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Because for as much shit as it gets, a lot of the criticism, I feel, is essentially boiling down to Jurassic Park is better, which, true. I'm not going to argue that. Jurassic Park is just a kind of lightning in a bottle kind of perfect movie, which is to be expected. It was Spielberg at essentially the height of his powers, the early 90s, with that and Schindler's List, coming off of his hot streak in the 80s. So Jurassic Park is fantastic. Very few things are going to stack up against it, notwithstanding sequels to that movie. But not being as good as Jurassic Park is kind of a high bar, and if that's what we're judging things on, we're not going to be able to enjoy very much, period. So a lot of the criticism is that it's dumb. That the script and the plot are really stupid, which, again, we're not dealing with the same kind of narrative as the first movie where it's based off of Michael Crichton book, which he's very scientifically literate, it's very intricate and detail-oriented, so yes, there's much more details and everything in that plot, but let's not forget the whole premise of Jurassic Park is scientists clone dinosaurs based off bugs they found in maple syrup. So even the initial premise is kind of stretching believability to an extent, but we're all willing to go along with it because we all grew up with Jurassic Park and it's a lot of fun. Fallen Kingdom is also very fun. Yes, we're getting more into actual cloning and genetic modifications and stuff like that, but in the end, and my friend Litton has made this point too, I don't necessarily know what you want from your giant dinosaur movies if you're focusing solely on how good the plot is and how smart it is. If you're making a movie about dinosaurs and they're doing dinosaur things and running amok, that's the key ingredient. And Fallen Kingdom has some really good set pieces. The opening sequence in Fallen Kingdom is fantastic and feels like something that Spielberg would have done in one of the earlier Jurassic Park movies. The fact that they go to the Gothic mansion at the end, that's another thing that everyone seems to hate on. Like, oh, it's so dumb that they go to this mansion, they go off the island. Well, we've had how many movies with the dinosaurs on the island? I think it's good to do something different. And as someone who loves horror movies, the fact that the movie kind of evolves into like this Gothic monster piece at the end, I thought was really intriguing and very cool. The score is fantastic. Yes, is it as good as John Williams? It's John Williams. Very few things are going to stack up to his scores, but it's still a really good score overall. If you're into music, the characters aren't as great. Again, if you're comparing it to Jurassic Park, no. Is it serviceable for watching a movie where dinosaurs run amok? Yes, there are so many worse things than this when it comes to monsters and blockbuster popcorn movie. So I think it is worth watching. If you haven't watched it because you've heard a lot of bad things, give it a shot. If you hated it the first time, try rewatching it without any kind of expectations at all, because it really does function incredibly well as a fun popcorn movie. And honestly, that's all I'm looking for with these movies at this point. the first Jurassic Park, I think, was very unique in that it was this blockbuster movie with clone dinosaurs, but Spielberg is a talented enough director where there was a seriousness to it that comes across. But even when he did it in The Lost World, already you had people bashing The Lost World because, again, it's not the original, but The Lost World really is a pretty good movie in its own right. And it's not without flaws, just like Fallen Kingdom isn't without flaws. Particularly, I kind of groan with the way they try to make the relationship between Chris Pratt's character and Blue the Raptor such a central focal point in Fallen Kingdom, but it doesn't do the work for it. So there's fair criticism of it. It is not a perfect movie by any stretch, but the spectacle of it is still operating on full cylinders, and you have J.A. Bayona as the director for this one, and he is able to create, and sustain suspense for the sequences that need it, which, while I do like Jurassic World, the first Jurassic World, it really forgets that the dinosaurs should be scary. It really is more of just a fun monster movie. Bayona remembers to make the dinosaurs scary at key points, and I think that is to Fallen Kingdom's benefit. So don't just listen to the haters. Fallen Kingdom, I really like. It is probably my third favorite Jurassic Park movie. I had to remind myself how many there are. Jurassic Park, obviously, and I would say The Lost World after that, because The Lost World is still, working with that Spielberg magic. But then Fallen Kingdom, the first Jurassic World, and then Jurassic Park 3 if you really want to look at what a bad Jurassic Park sequel is. But even that has great moments, like a talking raptor. It might have been a dream, but it's still one of cinema's greatest moments. So I am all for Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. I actually forgot to look to see if it was still on HBO or not. Oops. But if it's not available on HBO for streaming, or HBO Max, or whatever name they're going by at this point, if they're not on there, it's available on all the normal video on-demand rental stuff like that. Libraries are starting to kind of open back up, so you could always try that too. But I will be back on Thursday with something else for you. But yeah, here's my hot take for the day. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, it's good.